We're going to talk about the Chris Kanyon Dark Side of the Ring. We're going to talk about Extreme Rules review. We're going to go over it. Royal Rumble news. And Alexa Bliss news in a weekly wrestling review. We're not reviewing Raw or Smackdown, just NXT and AEW Grand Slam for Dynamite and Rampage. And yeah, so I'm reading something. So we're gonna get to the Chris Kanyon Dark Side of the Ring in just a minute. Okay. Let's get on with it. So yeah, okay. So with that, guys, like, subscribe, share, whatever. Let's get down with it. So, Chris Kanyon. Yeah. We all know about Chris Kanyon. If you're in wrestling, you know about Chris Kanyon. Especially his time in WCW. Friend of DDP. Best friends of DDP. Best friends of James Mitchell. Part of friends of Raven. Team up with Raven. Fought against Raven. In the ring. Very talented in the ring. Innovator of moves. What he was able to do in the ring at the time for a big man was ahead of the game. He was ahead of the game in the ring, alright? But we're going to talk about other stuff about Chris Kanyon. We're going to talk about his wrestling career and his personal demons. No, personal demons. So Chris Kanyon was he was in New Jersey. Born in New Jersey, that's why he's part of the trio of WCW with DDP and Bam Bam Bigelow, the New Jersey Triad. The Jersey Triad. The original Flatliner, like Josh says here. Also, he was always a wrestling fan growing up. Always a wrestling fan. Chris Kanyon. Always a wrestling fan. A huge wrestling fan. He was unfortunately growing up. He was in school. He was raised Catholic, and if you're raised Catholic, where he was growing up, being gay was frowned upon. It was a sin, basically. And when he was growing up, he admitted he was gay to the priest or whatever. Like, I'm not familiar with Catholic schools, but they probably do have a priest there, and he told the priest that he was gay, and the priest told him like that was a sin, it was against God, and I think that really really messed up his psyche about being gay. That he has to stay in the closet, and every time the assumption that he was gay, he would act up and try to prove to people that he's not gay. He kept it in because this is a time in the 90s where we're not exactly open about people being gay or whatever. Not straight, basically not straight. Especially in the workplace, especially in the wrestling industry. And he got interested in wrestling. He was discovered by James Mitchell at the time. James Mitchell saw, yeah, this guy's pretty good. He's pretty good. He's very athletic. He took him to a Fabulous Moolah who had a school. And Fabulous Moolah, Hall of Famer. You could say what you want about Fabulous Moolah. This is not about her, but he took her to her school where Fabulous Moolah really only trains women. But he took her in he took him in to train Kanyon. And that's where he learned to wrestle. He was a very passionate wrestling fan, became a wrestler, and he had he kind of was in a team, the kind of a working men at work team where they're basically like construction workers or whatever. But the thing is, about his work in his early days as a in that tag team, you could see how good he was in the ring, like how for a guy his size, he was able to do the moves he could do first. Because the guys for his size were not typically known for doing the moves that he could do to innovate some of the moves that typically smaller guys can do. But for a guy his size at the time, like now a lot of bigger men could do the moves that he could do. But at the time, usually bigger men can't. Like we're not allowed to show those moves, or probably like more frowned upon to show those kind of moves. But Canada was really the first. And I would say this, the stuff he could do in the ring, he led. I think he was ahead of his time, and he led to all the bigger men be able to do the moves in the ring now that Kanyon can do, because he was so damn good in the ring, like the stuff he could do. But okay, so he got paired up with James, right? Best friends, and he came out to this gimmick named Mortis. This is 95, 96. Character named Mortis. With a green singlet, green mask, skulls, whatever. And basically coming off the success, I guess, of Mortal Kombat, they won the WCW wanted to create characters off the Mortal Kombat. And they had a character named Glacier. They had Glacier. They had Mortis, right? Who's Kanyon. And now you can see all the stuff as Mortis, what he can do in the ring. Also, they have Wrath, who is Brian Clark, or WWE, you know him as A-Bomb, or Atom Bomb, whatever you want to call him. A-Bomb is the Atom Bomb. Wrath. He was Wrath at WCW for a little bit, and then became Brian Clark, part of the tag team with Brian Adams, known as Chronic, who I felt could have, when he went to WWE, should have got a better run, but that's a different story. But the stuff going, there was only one. But he was always volatile. Kanyon was always volatile because I think it's because of his being afraid, because of being gay, and he was very back in WCW backstage, especially with the politics of WCW, like politics of WCW back then. Like that's the one thing about WCW was what killed it. Eventually, what killed WCW, helped kill WCW, was the politics. He was afraid if he would come out, if he came out early and told everybody, he wouldn't get the push or the recognition or the useful time, the use on TV. He'd be released and gone from the company quickly. That's why he kept it in. But I think what it did, messed up his mind, messed up his psyche. And he only told one person about being gay, and that was James Mitchell. James Mitchell knew, and they were friends. But there was times when he just had his volatile burst, mostly at James Mitchell. I do think being gay, being afraid of coming out and stuff, being scared of coming out. But I also do think, since he got diagnosed with bipolar disorder, years after WCW and WWE, his not so good WWE career, I do think he had bipolar before that, but he got diagnosed in his 30s. I think he had it before, and I think I could I also think that contribute to his burst and the moods and his depression. But he just wasn't diagnosed with it yet. So he got diagnosed late with bipolar disorder. I don't know. That's my opinion. I think he was bipolar before being diagnosed. And he just got diagnosed late with it when he was in the worst, I think probably the worst period of his life. And I think being afraid of coming out really, really did hurt him. We needed her when added with the bipolar disorder. And I'm just saying, I think he was definitely I think he was diagnosed as being bipolar too late. Too late. He was definitely. Yeah, but I think it helped contribute to it, like, because tell me, sometimes when you're bipolar, right? You can have violent outbursts, can't you, when you're bipolar? But let's go back to his career. Let's go back to his career, and then we'll talk about more of this stuff. And like, I'm gonna whip into some of the stuff. Ric Flair, a little bit of John Cena. So after the Morris stuff, right? The Morris stuff was phasing out because the era of wrestling was those gimmicks were phasing out when it became more reality based with the NWO and WCW more reality based. So they had to change. They had to change the gimmick for Kanyon. And so he can. I think so too. That really. So he had to change, right? From Morris, he became Chris Kanyon, and like my Nate says, who's better than Chris Kanyon? Nobody. And he did have a lisp when he cut promos. So I think he was afraid of that. That was going to hurt him. But he did cut promos. He had to talk. He did cut promos, and he was mixed. He was involved with basically Raven, Perry Saturn, Raven's flock. And that was one of the best stuff. It's one of the best, best stuff about WCW at the days was him involved with Raven and Saturn, Raven's flock. I love those skits he's done with Raven. When Raven, Raven's like always in a depressing mood, alright, right? But he found out with those skits when Raven has a rich family, a mansion. It was kayfabe, but not real. But it turns out Raven was never in a depressing mood. He was actually happy. But those skits were awesome with Kanyon. And then after that, when Raven left in early '99 to go back to ECW, Kanyon joined up with DDP and Bigelow, become part of the New Jersey Triad for a while. And then Chris Kanyon and DDP were best friends, and DDP had the match from Ready to Rumble that the cages stacked on the top. And that's when Mike Awesome, I think it was Mike Awesome who threw Kanyon off the cage, right? And then Kanyon, when he recovers, Kanyon comes back, he turns heel on DDP, and he started copying DDP by stealing DDP's gimmick and his finishing move, the Diamond Cutter. And this is around the time WCW came to was dying, came to an end. And then when WWE bought WCW, he got involved with that stalker storyline. He got involved in that stalker storyline in DDP where Kanyon and DDP faced Kane and Taker. Kane and Taker buried DDP and Kanyon in the match. And Kanyon wasn't used. He got hurt himself. He issues again. He had a shoulder injury. And he got infected. And he was out like a year and a half. He got hurt. He was getting hurt. But he had his issues, substance abuse. He had addictive drugs, steroids. And I think that's why the steroids gave him an infection. And and he came back in, was it 2003 or 2004? 2004, I think it was 2004. I could be wrong, could be 2004 or 2003. We're talking about the Taker incident when he came back in the present box by Paul Heyman, and they had Kanyon dressed up like George, whatever, Curtis George, whatever, like a kind of like a girl, and they sing the Taker, and it's obviously this is bad. This is the American Badass. Like he just beat the living shit out of Kanyon, like it was. Yeah, he just beat the living shit. It was like it was like a hazing. I don't know. He just beat the living shit out. Yeah, Boy George. Thank you. It was bad. It was really, really bad. They just brought him back just to have him buried. Okay, it was Taker 3. It was Taker. Yeah, it was 03. Yeah, you're right. and he buried a, and he did some chair shot. He did a chair shot to Canyon's head, and after that, he was relegated to like it was relegated to like jobber status on Velocity and stuff. And if you remember Velocity, and then they got rid of him. They released him. I think he says it's because he's gay, but he did admit it. He did admit that when they released him, he did admit he released him that the gay stuff was just something to use, right? But he did admit it wasn't because of gay, but he admitted that he just said he was used the card. But he did admit it later it wasn't because but he did feel the beating. He did feel the beating was because of him being gay. From Taker. And I personally thought in WWE, I thought they could have made it better. I thought on the talent they had with Kanyon, they could have made him a better use of him, because I thought he could have been a bigger star in WWE because he's good in the ring. I mean, yes, he did have the lifts with his promos, but you know what? I still thought he was pretty good with the promos. I didn't think he was bad, you know? I didn't like. You did notice the lips a little bit, but I didn't think it hurt him one bit though. It didn't hurt him one bit, and I thought like he's one of the guys like WWE at the time had track record taking WCW guys and made him actually pretty good. And I thought Kanyon was one of those guys. I don't know if he'd been world champion, but I thought he was one of those guys that would have been more useful in WWE. But you know what? Sadly, it didn't happen. And then he was released. Yeah, but that's not the reason he used it, though. That's not the reason, though. He was going to use that card. Oh my god, sorry. Sorry. Did I turn on? And I just say this. Kanyon was used to train a lot of wrestlers at WCW. Stone Cold, Mick Foley, Triple H, Kane, and Undertaker from WCW. I guess Booker T was established star, but Booker T, Eddie Guerrero. I'm not gonna say his name, but you know what I'm talking about. The Wolverine. I guess most of the guys in the Invasion era, not really, but those are the guys. But yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a reason I didn't say his name. I don't want to, And so yeah, and he was there to train celebrities when WCW had those celebrities with Rodman, Malone, Leno. He was there to train. Well, it doesn't matter. Those are still all WCW guys. Like, I mean, it didn't come in with the Invasion era, but they did push Kevin Nash a little bit. They did push Hogan. How can you say they all got buried? They became champions. I mean, Eddie beat Brock Lesnar. Well, he did have a Goldberg. I agree they kind of buried Goldberg, but oh no. like Chris became champion at WCW. You would never see that in WCW. You would never see that. Oh, Jericho. What about? Yeah, I mean Jericho defected, but like Jericho, they all count. In my view, they all count. It doesn't matter which. It doesn't matter which when they came. They. Yeah, I didn't like JBL, and I felt that was bad. Yeah, but he still became champion. Eddie Guerrero will never. Here's the thing, Josh. Eddie Guerrero will never become champion in WCW if he stayed. He will never become champion. I know Benoit did, but Eddie Guerrero will never become champion. So I don't consider him buried in WWE. Most of these guys like. But and he did train Brian Cage. He told he helped Brian Cage get over. Like he said, Brian Cage said he was willing to let Kanyon win, but no, Kanyon said no, you have to win. He did take in Kanyon, Luke Hawx, and the Young Bucks. I know they did take him in. Young Bucks were at that event where Undertaker beat the living shit out of Kanyon. We're at that event. It was a Smackdown. Oh, he knew that. Look, Josh, he knew that. Why do you think he went to WWE? He knew in his heart he was never going to be a champion. He knew in his heart. That's why he went WWE. He was trying to get fired and go to WWE. So come on. And he was so selfless. We want to give him a home, but he did see the issues with him. He did go on Howard Stern show. They didn't get all buried. No. Saturn Malenko didn't end up. I agree with you too. But Benoit and Guerrero did not get buried. They became champions. Benoit beat Triple H and Shawn Michaels in the main event of WrestleMania. I'm sorry, but Benoit did not get buried in WWE. Okay. Neither did Eddie Guerrero. And I agree with you. I don't think JBL should have been champion, but they didn't. I don't think they got buried. Yeah, Nash called him. I mean, I know why Malenko had to. But this is about Kanyon. It's not talking about buried. Then you think everybody gets buried? This Kanyon. Now there's Kanyon goes on Howard Stern's show, and then Cena, when they had the Cena who was at the company. This is 2006. 2006, Cena said Kanyon was just not good enough. And then Kanyon comes on, like after again, he was kind of a freaking guest. And then they tried to get Vince McMahon on the air, and they tried to get Triple H, whatever, and they got Ric Flair. And Ric Flair says, Kanyon, you're just simply not good enough. You're simply not any good. Which is bullshit because Kanyon was very good in the ring. And he was decent on the mic, which is complete bullshit. Cause he did train his son, David Flair, and David Flair was not good at all in the ring. And I personally don't think David Flair had a passion for wrestling like his father. I think he was just kind of forced into it. I think he never had a passion for wrestling, David Flair. I think I personally think, yeah, that's how I feel. I think it's because his father was a wrestler, he had to get into it. And I don't think he ever wanted to be a wrestler, David Flair. But he did train David Flair, and he did train other. Excuse me for a sec. Look, I'll say this about the Flair family. Rest in peace to their son, Reed Flair. But if there's one Flair that I thought would get into wrestling, it was not Charlotte, or David, it would have been Reed. But fortunately, he passed away. I don't think he even had an interest in it. I just don't think he had a passion for it. And so that's complete bullshit. But I know Flair was employed by the company. He had a defendant company. But you know what? Fuck that. Flair has looked bad with these Darkside rings the last 2 weeks. First is a plain wife amount, and now this. And you remember, and like, he sent a little statement on Twitter talking about this. He kind of said, "Oh, I like the man. He was good." And then he condescended him in. I'm like, I don't know where that tweet is. Let me find a fucking tweet. Let me read it for you guys. I'm gonna find that fucking tweet. Where is that tweet? Look how condescending this tweet. Here, I'm gonna share with you. You can see my Twitter, but I'm okay with that because I'm gonna show you Ric Flair. Look. Breaks my heart to hear later on that he took this so hard, calling into guests that were seen as hostile. Okay, breaks my heart to hear later that he took this so hard. Calling into guests that were seen as hostile to WWE was part of the job then. I should not have said that nobody had ever been released. There's no way I could have known that for sure. I was holding the company in line. Love, and everyone should be able to love whoever and however. They choose without fear of the reprisal. I wasn't a huge Kanyon fan as a worker, but Chris... I can't pronounce his last name, but Chris was a hell of a good guy. So, bullshit. See, that's the pressure right there, being Ric Flair's son. Exactly. So, I'm reading this Twitter. Guys, look, you know what, Kanyon? Kanyon's favorite wrestler was Ric Flair. And when he heard that Ric Flair says, "You're just not good enough, you weren't good enough," I think that was like the final straw, and that really broke his... I mean, Kanyon had all his issues, but I think that broke his heart. That was the thing that broke his heart. Oh, yeah. When he said on David Stern, Howard Stern, not David Stern. Oh fuck, brain cramp. That broke Kanyon's heart because Kanyon's favorite wrestler was Ric Flair, and this condescending tweet. I wasn't a huge Kanyon fan as a worker, but Chris was a hell of a good guy. He was a hell of a good guy. Thank you. But if you weren't a huge fan of his work, why will you let his son train with him? Why train with him? Why will you let his son train with Kanyon? When Kanyon not just train his son, but train other people, celebrities and others. Kanyon is a perfect trainer. Like, that's complete bullshit. Ric Flair. My God, Ric Flair just made himself look like a bigger asshole 2 weeks in a row. This guy is fucking. I'm sorry, but you know what? Kanyon was a better worker than Ric Flair. He could do better stuff in the ring than Ric Flair. All Ric Flair was able to do was chops. When he gets whipped in the turnbuckle, goes over the turnbuckle, gets thrown off the top rope. Always does that thing. Always does a thing when he falls down head first. I mean, I personally think Ric Flair was a little overrated in the ring. I don't think he was as good as people. I mean, I think he did. I think he was. He could go a long time in the ring, but when I watch his matches, he's kind of boring. But Kanyon was a better worker than Ric Flair. I'm sorry. Yeah. Go ahead, Ric Flair stands. But that's condescending. And I know, man. I know. Yeah, he was. He was. And he was upset. Kanyon was also upset with WWE because they had Orlando Jordan who pitched an idea for Oprah and a bisexual character, and Kanyon wanted to be the first one to come out. And just wanted WWE to acknowledge that. He wrote a letter to Stephanie McMahon, and Stephanie McMahon replied back. Nothing heinous, but nothing came out of it. And then, unfortunately, I was listening to Solomon Monster Show. When Impact in 2010 had Orlando Jordan. Orlando Jordan came out as a bisexual character, and that's 2010 and 2011. And then 4 days later, this is when Kanyon committed suicide. 4 days later, after Orlando Jordan's gimmick on Impact, that's when he committed suicide. And James Mitchell knew, because last time he saw him, he knew that was just going to be the final time Kanyon's going to be alive on the earth when he sees him. I know you always hated Flair. I'll tell you what. A lot of people don't like Hogan. But look, Hogan is not the best wrestler in the world. But I think his matches are better. Like, I think what he did in the matches from a story perspective was better. And I saw this match with Inoki. It was Inoki in New Japan back in the 80s. Hogan can work. It's just that his character never asked for it. Hulk Hogan and Hollywood Hogan never asked his character to work, to do the stuff that he was able to do in the New Japan. Because he actually could work. It's just that his gimmick never asked for that. And by the time he was in WCW, he was like in his 40s. He couldn't do the stuff like that, He had to. Yeah, I'm surprised Kanyon didn't go to TNA. I'm very shocked. Was Kanyon in TNA? Yeah, but check out his match with Inoki in the 80s. He was actually good though. He was actually good. And you know what? For him, it works. It works for him. Oh, okay. He was on TNA. Yo, actually, he was on TNA. But in 2005 for the pay-per-view Turning Point. He lost to Raven. So he wasn't TNA just for a pay-per-view. He was at TNA for a pay-per-view. That's it, in 2005. So he did make an appearance at TNA, but just a one-off appearance. Yeah, and then when the Orlando Jordan stuff, the 4 days after Impact, when Orlando Jordan's gimmick was the bisexual character, that's when he committed suicide. It was sad because it felt like that's the only way for him to get peace. Was not to be on this earth anymore. And this is really, I mean, what this just shows is that it's shows. What it shows is it's okay to come out. I know there's homophobes out there, but do it for your health. If you're whatever, if you're gay, bi, whatever, don't be afraid to come out. If people reject you, it's their problem. Do it for yourself. Don't do it for the others. Do it for yourself. Just do it for yourself. Don't do it for others. Do it for yourself. And if those people have issues with that, fuck them. Do it for yourself, not others. Okay? I personally do think, I think that definitely really broke his heart. That was like, what year was that? 2008, 2009, 2007? Because I think even though he took his life in 2010, 2011, to me this is what kind of probably nailed it in the coffin for him. You know? So I'm saying if you're don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to come out. And if people have issues, fuck them, man. You know what? It's not. Do it for yourself. Do it for yourself. Don't do it for others. Do it for yourself, and do it for others who are afraid to come out. Right? And Kanyon did embrace that, and I think what really hurt him, I know that they'd be coming out of the closet, but it hurt him. Being afraid to come out of the closet. And he did come out, but I think what really hurt him was Ric Flair definitely saying that, and is not able to get into wrestling, and not able to do what he loves, and because wrestling was his life. And you know, say a lot of wrestlers, okay, it's a cliche thing to say that wrestling was everybody's life, but wrestling meant the world to him. Exactly, and he's dealt that for probably he dealt that for his whole ever since he was growing up. Ever since. And now, so that's a good Dark Side of the Ring. The next one is on, what is it, FMW? Yes. FMW. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna get a Stream Rules review. Briefly, Alexa Bliss is apparently been winning off TV for 2 months. What happened yesterday was a write-off for her. So she's gonna be written off for a few months. Apparently, it's most likely 2 months. So maybe she'll come back in 2 months. I don't know what this does with Charlotte Flair. I don't know what's next with Charlotte Flair. We got the draft next Friday. So yeah, Alexa Bliss is I don't know if this is a her break, or it's just something for her character to be written off, or if she's coming back, like if there's a next step in her current character or something, because we all saw what happened on Extreme Rules. That's good. Yeah, I know. I think. I'm checking something. I'm just checking something real quick. You know, I'm not going to do a wrestling week review, guys. Because I got to end this at 4. Right? I got to end this at 4. I got 18 minutes. Yeah, she could be on TV tonight, but but the reports are she'll be taking time off. But yeah, let's get to Extreme Rules. Yeah, Vince doesn't like Shayna, and Shayna I think is going to no, maybe it's a Smackdown. I don't know. Let's talk about Extreme Rules review. Oh yeah, Royal Rumble here. Royal Rumble is going to be on a Saturday in January 29th in St. Louis. That's when Royal Rumble's happening. January 29th, St. Louis. And you know how in front of 40,000 fans. Now let's get to Extreme Rules pay-per-view. So we're going to start with the kickoff show match. Liv Morgan and Carmella, the most beautiful woman in all of WWE. And she basically, before the match, cut a promo. There, she's so sick. And then Liv Morgan attacked her. They went outside the ring. And a solid match. Liv Morgan gets the win here with her finishing move. And she beats Carmella. And as I predicted. And I know Nate is very happy to live. And no dumb heel turn. And then we got it's been reported. It's being reported right now. You got to check the Twitter and check internet. And then we get the first match. This match was made earlier in the night because of a backstage skirmish between the Styles, Osmos, Lashley, and New Day. And so what happened was a 6-man tag team match was from New Day versus Osmos, AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley in a opening match. Tonight Lashley will takes on Big E for the title, right? Big E is defending the title against Bobby Lashley. Right? That's tonight. This match was actually pretty good. It was a good opening match. Osmos didn't really do anything. Really, he didn't basically do anything in this match. Lashley was actually been doing well. Styles was doing well. You got there was times where Big E was taken out because if you knew to get Big E in, so it was actually. What happened was, you would think what happened was the ending of the match. Ending of the match was good. Styles was going for the phenomenal forearm. Big E tagging Styles. Styles missed the phenomenal forearm. Lashley came in, wanted to spear Big E, but he missed Big E and he accidentally speared Styles. Big E picks up Lashley for the beginning and gets the 1-2-3, pinning Bobby Lashley, and New Day wins. And yeah, is it right? Yes. And you got a second match, Usos versus Street Profits. This match is actually very good too. Two high athletic teams going at it. Let Usos retain here, and which they did. The double splash to end the match. With One of them landing on the stomach, and the other on the legs. I'm nervous about splashes on some of his knees. Yeah, wrestling ain't gets legit. I'm always nervous about somebody doing a top rope move off, like a splash off the top rope on somebody's knees. Fortunately, they're fine. They land on somebody's knees, but they're fine. The Usos retained here. And then the next match was the Raw Women's title match between Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Now this match is actually a very decent match. Alexa Bliss got some offense in this match. Unfortunately, Charlotte Flair got the win here, of course, because she picked up the doll Lily, threw Alexa Bliss, big boot kicked her, and then gave her natural selection for the 1-2-3 for the win. And she went to get the Lily doll and started ripping the doll. Why is it BS finish? It's actually smart. Use it to advantage. It was actually smart. Started ripping up the Lily doll. Alexa Bliss got pissed off. Attack started. Charlotte managed to get rid of Alexa Bliss. Throws over the announce table. Announce table. And then proceeds to get the title. And then you see Lily, all the stuffing. Lily, the doll stuffing. And then you see Alexa Bliss all upset. The range, and you see she had the foam capsule. She was foaming at the mouth, especially at when she walks up to the stage. You see that she's foaming. She's pissed, and this is like a transition for her. This is like a different Alexa Bliss. It's like a different mood set. This is like a different Alexa Bliss. Now you can see what's gonna happen. What's happening with Alexa Bliss? Lily's gone. What's gonna happen? And then we got actually a very good triple threat match with Damian Priest, Jeff Hardy, and Sheamus for the United States title. I love the beginning when Sheamus kicked Hardy out of the ring. But this match is actually very good. To me, Jeff Hardy's twisted face just basically a spin around stunner. Pretty much at this point. I did love the swanton onto Priest's back when he was laying on top of Sheamus. But Damian Priest gets the win here with the roll up, not the finishing, but roll up over Sheamus. 1, 2, 3. And Sheamus was hilarious. Yes, he did some funny things in the match. And at the end, Priest congratulated Hardy for the good match. And then we have the SmackDown Women's title match, which was actually a good match. The SmackDown Women's title match was actually a good match. This match, Becky sold a lot for Bianca Belair here. Becky fucking sold a lot for Bianca Belair here. Bianca Belair was amazing. Yes, no, there was no winner, there was no contest, but we'll get to that. She did a lot. She expressed her. Used her power in this match. Bianca Belair looked really, really good. I think Becky Lynch had something to do with helping her look really, really good. But the moves that Bianca Belair did, oh my god. Using her strength. And there was times where Becky Lynch tried to use her ponytail, but the ponytail for Bianca Belair is either a useful weapon or it's one for Achilles' heels. And Becky Lynch tried to exploit it. And well, the ending was fucking amazing. And look, ended no contest. But I didn't mind the ending. Okay? I didn't mind the ending. I thought it made sense in a way. I thought it kind of made sense. But how it started, like Bianca Belair was in the disarmor and she basically lifted Becky Lynch with one arm. and she was about to put in a KOD, and all of a sudden, Sasha Banks ran down the stage, gets in the match, hits Bianca Belair, resulting in no contest, takes out Bianca Belair first, then takes out Becky and Sasha look at each other, 4 horsewomen. Where are they gonna join forces or no? Nope! Sasha Banks attacks Becky Lynch. Bianca Belair comes in to try to attack Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks gets a better punches Bianca Belair in the face, gives her the backstabber, and gives Becky Lynch the backstabber. And she stole the title. Me too, Josh. I liked it because originally Sasha Banks. Read on those. Originally Sasha Banks was supposed to have the title match at SummerSlam, right? It's Bianca, but unfortunately that didn't happen, and Becky Lynch came in, became the champion, right? And I think this will lead to triple threat match. Maybe on SmackDown we'll have a 3-way match on the draft night. I don't know. Because Sasha Banks, you know what? She's gonna say, I should be the champion. I never got my title shot. Should have got my title shot. Maybe I should be the rightful champion. And they get if they get involved, if they have a 3-way, it's gonna be awesome because they're all good. Like, the ending made sense. I know a lot of people rather have a decision, like a win, the win, or like it has to have somebody has to win or lose. But the ending made sense with the no contest. The ending made sense because if you look from a storyline perspective, Sasha Banks was technically supposed to have a title match, and Bianca Belair was supposed to be opponent, and she wasn't able to wrestle. And Becky Lynch came back, took her spot, took her title, and that was originally meant for Sasha Banks. So yeah, I'm really looking at this going. And then we got the main event: Finn Balor versus Roman Reigns for the Universal title. And this match was good. This is the first time Finn Balor, Becky. This is the first match Finn Balor is Demon. Even though at the beginning of the match he was overpowered, but as time went on, of course, he had to tone down because he had to make Roman Reigns look strong. You can't not no-sell Roman Reigns all the time. In the beginning of the match, it made sense to no-sell Roman Reigns because he is a demon, and demon has to no-sell at times. Regular Balor has to sell, but as a demon, you have to no-sell at times. But as the match goes on, I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna see it after. It has to. He has to sell as the match goes on because he gets tired and it does wear off. But the beginning of the match makes sense, and this match was great. There was Extreme Rules that Roman Reigns gets a candlestick and Demon Balor gets a huge demon-like candlesticks. That was great. The Usos come out to help out Finn Balor because Finn Balor his finishing move is get the pin, but the Usos come out. He takes out the Usos. Roman Reigns comes out, spears Finn Balor through the barricade, and you think that he's out. And all of a sudden, the lights turn red, and you hear a heartbeat, and you see, and you see Finn Balor's body, like going like heartbeat, right? It's like when you have a high heartbeat, or whatever the sound of a heartbeat, you hear a crowd, and you can see the body going. Sorry, I know it doesn't look like, if you judge me on that, what it looks like what I'm doing. No, I'm showing what Finn Balor did. Sitting down, right? All right. I'm not lying down, okay? So yeah, don't get any sick thoughts. Don't get any sick thoughts. And it was open again. He managed to get the advantage on Roman Reigns. And I actually thought he was gonna win. He saw smoke rising up. His music was even playing during the match was going on. The theme music was still playing. He goes on the turnbuckle for his first move, and all of a sudden the rope snaps and he falls off and he hurts his knee. I don't know if that knee injury is legit. It could have been. I don't know. I don't know if it's like. I don't know if it is. I don't know. We'll find out. Or if he's just selling it, and then he gets speared 1, 2, 3, and I think that's the first time the Demon lost. But the snap of the rope, I know why Josh thinks it's Josh thinks it's a Paul Heyman who did it. I saw some videos from people's view of it. It was actually the event on Twitter. It wasn't Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman didn't do anything. Paul Heyman did nothing. Cause I was looking for like to see what happened. It wasn't Paul Heyman. I mean, because I'm going to show you a video. This is the guy who played the SRS. This is the guy who posted a reply to Sean West's app. I'm going to try to find it. I'm going to try to find it, okay? Oh, here we go. It's on Twitter. Here we go. I'm going to... I wonder if I can share audio. So I'm going to stop screen, and then I'm going to try to share audio, okay? Paul Heyman was nowhere in sight. It's not God. It's not God. It's not God. What? I'm not going down that rabbit hole. I'm just saying it's not Paul Heyman. It's not God. No way. Because I don't want to use that stuff. It's not God. But it's not Paul Heyman either. I thought it was a Paul Heyman because the smoke coming up. I don't know. I think it's just a crew worker. Somebody works on the crew for WWE crew. Or it could be a Max figure, yeah. See, it could, exactly. So that's why I don't think it's... Maybe it's somebody Paul hired? I don't know. But it's not Paul Heyman. But maybe, you know what? Maybe Paul Heyman was in the mask. But I don't know. But yeah, I thought Street Moves was a solid pay-per-view overall. Every prediction I predicted on, I got right. And then... They didn't announce the pay-per-view because their next show is Crown Jewel and the Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar will be for the Universal title. And yeah, and that's basically my show tonight. What we got on Raw tonight? Let me show you a preview. Let me try to find something. If there's a preview for tonight. Yeah, I'm not doing a Wrestling Weekly review today, guys. Sorry. Oh yeah, okay, so yeah, can you imagine? I don't think Brock Lesnar cares who wins, man. I don't think he cares. Yo, they'll never do that. They'll never do that. But that'd be interesting if Carmella loses that match, loses her hair, and people you're not the most beautiful woman in WWE anymore. But yeah, so only Raw stuff I know for tonight is Big E versus Bobby Lashley for the title. But yeah, yeah, and no Raw watch along. I'll be busy. But tomorrow I might do an NXT watch along. Dynamite Wednesday, of course. Friday Smackdown, you know the whole drill. Yeah, and Thursday I might do a stream, but it might not be at a wrestling stream. But with that, this is how I feel about you guys. He just wants to see Carmella with no hair. That's the reason. Carmella with no hair. So yeah, with that.
Too sweet! Sweet! Too sweet! Too
sweet! Exactly, he just wants it to be ruined. So with that, like, share, comment, subscribe down below. Enjoy Raw, and yeah, too sweet. Take care, guys.